everyone. I'm Melanie McFarland, and welcome to Comic-Con at Home 2021 for this very exclusive Doctor Who Season 13 panel. The good news is that Doctor Who returns later this year with a season that's totally unlike anything that we've seen before. And when I say that, I'm not kidding. We have some really huge reveals later on, so don't go away. But before that, we also have some exclusive footage and images from Season 13. And guess what? You guys are the first to see this. I'm so excited for you. But first, let me introduce our amazing panelists. So first to join us will be showrunner executive producer, Chris Chibnall.
Thanks.
The 13th Doctor herself, Jodie Whittaker. You'll recognize her as the Doctor's dear friend, Yasmin Khan. It's Mandip Gill, everyone. And I'm sure any Doctor Who fan will know he's boarding the TARDIS for the first time and joining the cast as Dan Lewis. A warm San Diego welcome to John Bishop.
We're your own Hall H here, John.
I love the fact that I get a San Diego welcome whilst we're in Cardiff.
But they are not the only ones joining us today. We have another extremely exciting guest to reveal joining Season 13. And you may recognize this person from Game of Thrones. Who could that be? Could be a number of people. But you'll have to stay tuned and find out for sure. All right, let's jump in. Now, at the end of last season, the Doctor and Yaz parted ways with the fam. Graham and Ryan decided to go back to their old lives in Sheffield, and it was a beautiful ending, but also heartbreaking. So, Chris, let's talk about all the changes that Team TARDIS is going to undergo. What can you tell us about the new season?
I can tell you yeah, she's laughing already. She's like, he's not going to tell you anything. I can tell you that we pick it up with the Doctor and Yaz, who've been traveling together for some time, and we come in and meet them mid-adventure. And then they stumble across a man called Dan Lewis. That's all I'm going to tell you. That's much more than you thought, isn't it? But I can tell you that it's probably the big thing that we're going to be doing this year is it's all one story. So every episode is a chapter in a bigger story. So we've changed the shape of the series for this year.
And why did you decide to tell the story this way?
Well, it's very much not a business as usual time, and I think the challenges of getting the show up and running, because there were times when, before we started making it, that we didn't know whether we'd be able to make the show under COVID conditions this year, so everybody's pulled together to make that possible. And so what we've done is, there were two ways you could go. You can go, we're just going to do lots of tiny episodes in one room with no monsters, or we can throw down the gauntlet and go, we're going to do the biggest story we've ever done. And we're going to go to all kinds of different places. We're going to have all kinds of characters and monsters, and it's all going to be part of a bigger whole. I think it's definitely the most ambitious thing we've done since we've been on the series, would you say? It's pretty epic and ambitious, and we do go to a lot of places. Yeah.
You don't realise until, because we're currently filming, so hence why we are allowed in this bubble without our masks and such things, because we're in our work bubble at the moment. It's felt really emotional to come back because we are the lucky ones that get to go to work, and then also it slightly changes it, doesn't it, to day-to-day filming in that way, but it's also meant that this feels so precious and so fun because of what we've all come out of. And I think in that, it's always a little bit method that, whatever you're going through, you can bring into your character. So I feel that whatever huge emotional challenges we go through, I'm lucky that I can throw that into the Doctor because it's always required for the Doctor.
All right, we're going to jump to John. Welcome to the cast.
Thank you.
What's it been like to join this global phenomenon? What have the experiences been like so far?
Well, it's different than anything that I've ever done before. My day job is as a stand-up comedian, and I've done bits of acting, But this is, you know, it's an iconic series. It's on a scale, an international scale that's bigger than anything that I've ever done before. And I've also come into this family where it's different for me, because as Jodie was saying there, we have all the protocols, which mean that the people on screen are not wearing masks, but everyone behind the camera is. Now, I don't know them, so I come into this world where Jodie and Mandip know all of the crew and know their names, and I've literally just saw everybody's eyes. I've been working with people for the last few months where I'd probably walk past them in the street, because if they see the whole face, it's a shock to me. There's people I've been working with since November, I've never seen the chin. So it's a whole different world to me. But what I have to say is, without sparing Jodie or Mandip the blushes, I've come into something where they're established, they're obviously significantly more experienced than me, but in a difficult environment, they set the tone. And it's been so good to come into a supportive environment where people are doing what they have to do to make the show work. And everyone, I was only speaking to a guest member of the cast today, and they said it's, you know, from other jobs that they've done, they feel like they're coming into a nice, supportive, warm environment where the focus is on delivering the show at the end, and everyone's pulling together, and there's no, you know, genuinely, there's no egos, and that's a really, that says a lot about these two and the whole setup of what Doctor Who is.
That's fantastic. Where were you when you found out that you'd been cast?
Well, it was an interesting process, because Chris met me pre-pandemic and said, we have a character, I think you might be good for it, would you be interested? And I was very keen, very interested, but I'd already committed to doing a tour. So we just couldn't make the dates work because I was meant to be on tour. So I unfortunately had to say no. And then fate and a global pandemic intervened. And then we phoned Chris up and said, does it still work? And fortunately for me, they said, yeah, but then I had to go through the casting process. So I had to do my first audition on Zoom, and then I had to come and have a day in Cardiff with Jodie on the set, which was quite awe-inspiring to see if it worked, and if there was a gel, but also how it all looked on camera.
I let him into my TARDIS, didn't I?
She let me in, and then we had to do a few scenes together.
That's a pretty cool audition, that. I was in the living room jumping on my couch with
Yeah.
iPhone wires.
I didn't audition.
Oh, is it?
Oh, there you go. There you go. Helicoptered in, bang. That's the ego I'm talking about.
So, John, what was it like to step on the TARDIS for the first time?
It's strange because it is so iconic. I mean, you know, who doesn't know about the TARDIS? Who hasn't got a vision of it? And obviously, for filming purposes, there's a couple, but then there's an actual door that you go into on the set in Cardiff, and you're in it. You're in that place, that thing that you've seen before, and it is quite. It's for me, it's quite emotional because our first week filming was all in the TARDIS. So I thought, you know, not only am I doing it, I'm not like building up to being on the TARDIS. I'm in from day one. It was brilliant. You do feel like you're on something of significance. And I think that for me as an outsider coming into the show, that's one of the things that I've had to get used to. The fact that when we film on location, you know, there's paps taking photographs. That was not something I was expecting. Well, one of our first location shoots, we were in Cardiff. It was a night shoot. Normally, if you ever film a drama and you're in a night shoot, everybody's annoyed with you because you've closed off the street and nobody wants you there. Doctor Who, you're filming of a night, all of a sudden there's a crowd there, and then we're looking at the crowd. Some people have come dressed as Daleks and characters of the show, and I'm like, how did they even know we were here? And then to find out that we're here and have an outfit to put on to come and watch at 1 o'clock in the morning, that shows the commitment.
So Mandip, Yaz is back, but she's had to say goodbye to Graham and Ryan. And like I said before, I was heartbroken. I can only imagine what it must have been like for Yaz.
It's different. The thing is, we had time, you know, obviously we knew when they were leaving way before everyone else knew they were leaving. So we had that time, like the last scene you saw with those guys was upsetting, wasn't it?
Because it was our last scene.
It was our last scene together, so it was upsetting at that time. Then we've gone through the pandemic and stuff like that. So, you know, even though we haven't actually seen each other for a long time and stuff, but it's nice to be on set and like still talk about always telling John how funny they were and stuff like that. Make you feel really small and stuff.
Really great comic timing.
Because the thing is, I knew I was cast, obviously months before I started, and I spent a week with Bradley doing this thing called Soccer Aid, so I'd spent a week with him, talking to him constantly, and he must have thought, I didn't know you were a Doctor Who geek. I just kept on asking him about Doctor Who and asking him loads of stuff, and he must have been thinking, this is a bit strange. and then obviously when it became revealed, he phoned me up straight away and just said, you will enjoy this like nothing else you've ever done, and he was right.
This feels like a great time to see the new trio together for the first time. We have an exclusive image from the new season. Let's have a look.
Well, I think Jodie and Mandip look epic, and I look like the bloke who plays darts with your uncle.
So we've been introduced to John, and Chris, we've heard a lot of rumors about the new season, but can you give us any information about what other new characters will be introduced?
Oh, no, because there's a lot of them. I mean, I guess the thing to say is we have a number of amazing guest actors joining us across the series, and quite a few of them recur across multiple episodes, which is very unusual for this show. Other than that, I'm not going to tell you anything about them, to be honest. Maybe there's one we can talk about.
Maybe one. So I think it's time to reveal who that is. So have you guessed who it is yet from Game of Thrones? Here's some more hints. He's a musician. He's also an actor, obviously. Unfortunately, he can't be here today, but he has recorded an exclusive video for you all. So please welcome Jacob Anderson.
It's Jacob Anderson here. You guessed it, or you didn't. But if you didn't, surprise! I'm very excited to be joining Doctor Who season 13 later this year, and I get to play one of my favourite people I've ever played, Vinda. And yeah, I'm sorry I can't be there in Cardiff with Jodie, Mandip, John, Chris. This is like a dream. This is a real life childhood dream to be a part of Doctor Who, and even more so to be in Doctor Who with Jodie and Chris, who I've worked with before, had a lovely time with, and meeting Mandip and John has just been a dream come true. And I think we're all best friends now. This was probably the best first day on set I've ever had, because I got there and we had to do some press photos, and right next to where they were doing the photos was the TARDIS, and was the door, and the door was closed. And I was like, I'm sorry, before we do anything, I just have to do this. It's like a big moment for me. And I walked through the doors of the TARDIS, and I was in the TARDIS, and I was like, I could fit. I don't know if anybody remembers this or understands this feeling. Like, I felt like I was 14 again, watching Doctor Who, like my Doctor Who for the first time. Just like, how is this real? And it's a real thing. It's a real place that you can go. Everything's real. I touched every single button on the TARDIS. So yeah, this has been a ride. This has been a proper dream of mine. So very, very excited. Not only did I get to go on the TARDIS and press all the buttons and flip all the levers and the switches, but I got my own ship, and my own ship had its own world of buttons and levers and switches that you could actually press and you could actually play with. And I was like, I'm home. This is where I've always wanted to be. So that was like, I had lots of very amazing days. I've had lots of amazing days working on this, and it's the most amazing crew, and they've been amazing through a very difficult year for everybody. And getting to spend time with Jodie again was beautiful. Mandip and John are just my hearts. And yeah, like, all I have to say about working on Doctor Who is that it has been like one of the ultimate highlights of my career, and I'm just full of really special, lovely people, and the props are as amazing as you'd imagine. The sets are as amazing as you'd imagine. But I shouldn't say too much more than that. But it's been an honor to play Vinder, and I can't wait for you all to see him and to meet him.
I love him so much.
He's the nicest human being on the planet.
Yeah. But one of the things that he said there, which is something that I didn't appreciate until you're actually here on the set, is the art department and the worlds that they create. You know, we've got different lots, different studios, and you literally go in and you walk through the wooden frame and you're in a whole world that they've created. It's brilliant. The attention to detail is fantastic. I have to say though, Jacob was also present at my most embarrassing experience, not on Doctor Who, in my career. And he's the only one who was witness to it. We, again, without revealing too much, we had to do this moment where we were in the green screen studio and we had to be forcefully standing against an opponent. Let's say that. So we had to approach this point where there was some false rocks and we had to stand in a forceful manner. And Jacob's a young, fit man. So I walked up and I had to deliver my line, and I won't reveal the line, but let's say the line was, okay, we are all ready for action, something along the... And I walked on and I got tensed up and I went, okay, we're all ready for action. And something left me more than words, but I thought I would just plough on. I will plough on and look straight in the camera because nobody knows, because nobody laughed. And Jacob was just stood next to me and went, I hate that.
But Jacob's got like such a smiley face in his eyes. If they slightly go and you know he's about to smile and you really he's going, and he really kept it together.
He kept it together, honestly, and I thought, I didn't know whether to say to the sound department, did anyone hear a fart? Should we do it again or just pretend? We'll all pretend it didn't happen. So there may be one episode where it sounds like a bomb's gone off. It's not a bomb.
So Chris, I think it goes without saying, but why was Jacob the perfect choice to play Vinder?
I'd written for him before in Broadchurch, and obviously you'd worked with him there as well. He's a gorgeous actor. He's a brilliant human being, as you can see from that clip. And obviously everybody knows him from his work on Game of Thrones. Obviously people know him from his work as a musician as well, Rally Ritchie. So I was thinking about this character, and he was the first name who came to mind. I sort of wrote it for him and then pitched it to him and begged him and sent it to him, talked to him a lot, and he has that humanity you saw there, that warmth, but he can also play an action hero, and he makes you root for him and he breaks your heart, and he's got the whole range. He's just brilliant.
Oh my God, he's been so yummy to work with, hasn't he? I've just had the time of my life. Remember, you weren't on set one day and we were just chatting for about 7 hours. Oh, it was absolutely brilliant.
I got a video. What? One of the crew members, no, not a video, like a WhatsApp doing an impression of Mandip, going, Jacob was literally sat there while Mandip's going, and then I had that, and then I went back, and then I went there, and then I might go to the gym, and then I might. And he said, Jacob just sat there while Mandip was chewing his ear off. And you were like, we had such a lovely day.
Also, that was the day he was like, I'm really, really tired. He was so tired. We were both so tired and then just burst out laughing, but it's been such good fun. And like you said, like a lot of the characters, unless they're companions, are not reoccurring, whereas with his character, he's been here quite a lot, hasn't he? So it's like we've had a really good chance to get to know each other, have a laugh and stuff like that. I've loved working with him. Loved it.
I think people are going to be curious to see what Vinder looks like, and we have an exclusive image. So let's have a look at Jacob Anderson as Vinder.
Oh, exactly. Look, imagine standing next to him and farting, having an accidental fart next to an action hero like that.
What would you say would be your advice for all the new characters joining the show, and of course for John as well?
Obviously for John, he's coming in, but he's coming in, what would you play, looking like a darts player, but like, you know, but if you've been in a makeup chair since 4:30 in the morning, and this is your first day and you're walking in, and you want those people to feel like whatever choice they want to make, this is the time to go there. Like, we play pretend for a living, and this is the floor to live out all the, you know, all the bold and creative and, you know, I suppose exciting and nerve-wracking choices that you can't necessarily make when there's a limitation on genre, on period, on etiquette, on you know, on class. All that goes, and it's like, come and play.
Then what advice do we give them? I think we followed in the footsteps of Jodie, so it's like she says, it's such a fun environment, but I think that starts with Jodie. So more than giving them advice, it's just going to us, keep that up, you know, in the third year, let it be a space where people can come in and have fun. Like,
oh, it is. I mean, you know, without a doubt, the person at the top, who's Jodie, sets the tone. And for me, coming into it as well, you sort of feed off that, but you go into an environment where all of a sudden you're playing against these people who've been in prosthetics, so you've got these aliens or monsters, and then there's a cut, and then you sat down, you're having a cup of tea, and they're still in it. They're still there, the lips are still moving, and you're thinking, oh my God, I am actually talking to an alien now. And it's become normal because they're eating chips. So you have that, but it was just today, there was a moment today, remember, when Jodie had to stand up and was lining up for a shot, and she was there with the Sonic like that, and I just had to lean in and go, just remember, you are a grown woman. This is a professional job. It's not playing out. Because that's what it feels like so much.
One final question from me. I mean, we can tell, and you know, when we've spoken before, it's been very apparent that you're all very close in real life. And that's one of the reasons that this particular iteration of Doctor Who is so very special, because you can tell that everybody really genuinely likes each other. So what's it been like behind the scenes? And what would each of you say have been your favorite moments of filming season 13?
Am I allowed to jump in?
yeah, go.
So I can't obviously say where we were or what we were doing or who we were with, but we were filming with Jacob in a particular set that I think that picture is taken from, and there was other characters involved that we weren't necessarily, our characters weren't necessarily friends with those characters. That's a way of articulating that. And there ended up being a few weeks of epic scenes, but with a core group of brilliant actors who, every time it cut, it was just a joy to sit with them. But then every time it was action, turnover, we were all doing thing, even being able to say, doing things that we've never done before. We're now really good best friends for life.
You know, one of my things that I love is watching John, because he just loves it. Oh my God, it's such a joy to watch. Like sometimes, I mean, just today, didn't we? When you realised that about the set, you just took a moment and went, oh my God, this is a set. I was like, I do that too. Like 3 years later, I'm like, this isn't real. I was like,
we were in a building that looked an old building. We were on this, and there's an elevator shaft, and then I suddenly walked around the back of the elevator shaft and thought, oh, this isn't real. Someone's built this just for us to play on.
This is what he does. And like we were outside on a night shoot, like we'd met a monster, old, an old monster. And John was like, oh my God, this is so good. It was like 12 at night and it's freezing. I was like, yeah, John, it's really, really good. I mean, cut to 3 hours later, he was like, oh my God, how long are we going to be? It's so cold, it's so cold. But it's just so nice to work with someone that's so excited by the sets and the cross, because we've seen loads of sets, costume, I still get really excited, but it's just so nice to see somebody else doing it with me.
For me, I think there's been so many moments, like from the first day of filming, where we had a scene where the TARDIS was wobbling, and I was that giddy. I threw myself through the air on the floor, and everyone, what are you doing? There's no stunt coordinator. And I thought, oh, isn't this what you do? You just jump around. So there's that, and I think, looking back at this, because of the challenges that everyone's faced to make it, I think it's a hell of a credit to the BBC, to Chris and the whole crew in Cardiff that they've pulled together to make it, because we're coming through this now and the pandemic has got a different view than what it did have, but we've been making this right in the worst of it, and that spirit of unity has been so apparent. But if there was, I suppose, one moment that I could think of in the last, well, it's been now 6 months, 7 months, that I will probably pick to cherish, it was last night, because last night was the first time us three have been able to have a dinner socially away from work. We could sit down and we could be friends. And I will take that away, because that'll last as long as this show lasts.
That's beautiful. All right, here's the part that many of you have been waiting for. Fan questions. So let's start with Samuel Johnstone, who begins by saying how amazing you all are and how much he can't wait for season 13. Following up with the question, what are you most excited to share with the fans this coming series?
I'm excited for our amazing Whovians to see some incredible interactions with old monsters.
Oh,
nicked your answer.
Yeah. Because it's so, that part is just so
Well,
good.
I've already said it, you gotta say
No,
it.
I'm not. I'm going to elaborate on it. Hi, Sam. I'm going to just say it's so special to work with new monsters that we're the first people to interact with these monsters and old monsters. But there's one in particular I'm so excited about. So good.
For me, what I would say is what I think's different, because obviously when I got the part, I went back and I've been watched all the previous series and stuff. What's brilliant is that story that's going through. So you end an episode, and I know in previous series there's been sometimes a double episode or something, but each episode's ending on a brink point where you think, what's going to happen? And I think that if I was a fan, that would be the thing that will make this series so different to the previous ones.
So lots of cliffhangers coming.
Yeah.
A lot of cliffhangers
right?
this year.
A lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah.
You're the king of a cliffhanger, I am, bloody hell.
We'll find out, won't we?
God. So stressful. It's stressful. It's so stressful reading them. I thought, oh my God.
Yeah, there's a couple of my favourite cliffhangers we've done
Yeah.
this year, I can think.
Oh,
Yeah.
Exciting.
I think you'll know.
All right. Our next question, and I'm going to have to take a moment with this because it's very specific. So it's from Twitter, @Keely348. 22440.
Oh, that Keeley.
Yeah.
That's Keely. If you were to switch places with any character, past or present, who would it be and why?
I think I'm going to say Sasha's master.
Oh, you can have
Just because it's so different to my character, and I don't know, I love Sasha. I love the way he plays it. I loved watching him and like the way he changes things and the way he works and stuff, but also just the character he's created and the evilness and when he was the softness to him, and just because his worlds are like away from Yaz and anything I've ever been able to play, I think I'm definitely going to say the master.
I think I'm going to nick slightly, but I'd say Missy. But for similar reasons of it's just having that, it's being within the same world, but being able to explore no, I can't say, but just an energy that Michelle has such an amazing energy, and there's that, and the storylines that were explored. So yeah, so because you nicked Sasha.
I didn't nick Sasha, I said Sasha.
I think I would have to say Graham, because they both really love Bradley Walsh.
Well, Chris, what about you?
Rory Pond. I'd be Arthur Darvill.
All right, next question. Adam Thompson wants to know, are we going to be in for any real shocks this series?
Yeah. Come on.
It'd be rubbish if you said no.
Yeah. No, it's very babe. Yeah, of course you are.
When obviously the scripts come as Chris finishes them, so you don't start the series knowing what's happening. You sort of start and pick it up as they get revealed and just before you play them. And there's been so many surprises that I never saw coming, not at all. So I think there's definitely some shocks.
Anything you want to say, Chris?
Literally nothing.
I had to try.
Yeah, no, you keep going.
Tom Bowen wants to know, on a personal level, what does it mean to you to be part of the Doctor Who universe?
Oh, well, I guess for me, it's to have a job where you can play in the world that you loved as a child and as an adult, and then you combine that with what you've done as a profession, and you work with these people, and you work with the heads of department, the crews, everybody on the show, the post-production team. It is like the greatest joy. It's the greatest teamwork I've ever been involved in, and then it's in service of a thing that you love from when I was 4 years old. So that's it. Like, it's an incredible privilege. It's incredibly emotional. I think particularly this year in getting the show up and running again, and everybody's efforts. There are people coming in at 2:30, 3 a.m. in the morning to get ready for us to film, and it's incredible. So it's really emotional, and I think it feels like we're so excited. It's sort of everything, really.
I think what you're saying about the kind of being a fan, and then you are in something that is so precious to us as an individual, but you are that 5-year-old every day, because this is a privilege, and then you see how it affects people and how it reaches people, and the fans are out there and they're loyal. And like John said before, you're on set and it's really late at night and someone has taken the care to turn up in the best cosplay they could, in the middle of the night, just to see the thing they love. And we don't know why they love it. It could have been a moment with their grandma when they were younger, or it could have been just like an image that got them hooked. And for us, we have that now. We're the fans, we're the Whovians, and we're so lucky to be able to have an emotional connection, not just for us having this journey, and it doesn't become insular or in any way internalized. It's all about inclusivity and sharing, because the whole thing is about us doing this to reach those guys and we are all on something that goes before us and beyond us. And I get really teary about it all the time. It's the best job I've ever done. I loved Broadchurch. It's the best job I've ever done and I love it. But knowing that you've been given something and it's a gift and it's so fun.
Yeah. I can't really say anything other than what these guys have said, like, just say it again. I have had the time of my life. And I think I'm realising with the year that we had out with COVID, how big of a deal this is. It was like a moment where you were able to stop and go, oh my God, I'm in something. Like we do realise that we go to Comic-Cons, we meet people, you see like figurines of yourself. Like during the pandemic, I got like a little figurine of myself and I just looked at it for a little while upstairs. I just thought, this is amazing. Like, but it was just a moment for us to stop and realise just how good this is. And I was so excited to get back and just being in Cardiff and being with that crew and loving your job, and it's different. It's not anything I've ever done before, and I don't, I hope it comes after, but it's just, you can't describe it, and it don't feel like you go to work. And it's lasted so long, and every day I'm so grateful to be going there, and how special it is to me and how special it is to other people. That's what I think. When people draw pictures and stuff, I just love that.
I think for me, again, you could reiterate what everyone else says about the emotion of it and being involved in something that's iconic and will exist beyond you, and you become part of something. Because it's a moment in your life and in your career where you can go, oh my, I did that thing like Chris, I watched it as a child, and you go, I'm part of that. And particularly under the circumstances that we've worked under this year for everybody, it has unique resonance. And when I first I thought I couldn't do it, I was watching an opportunity of a lifetime walk out the door. And then, for me, it really feels like I got a second chance at it because of the unique circumstance that we were in. So as Mandip says, that's why I get giddy and excited about it, because I know how close I was to missing out on something special. And that is something I'll always be grateful for.
Here's the moment that you've been waiting for. Have you guys seen this yet? It's the trailer. Look how excited. I'm excited too. Are you ready to see it?
Yeah.
I'm the Doctor. This is Raz. This is Dan.
No way.
Hiya. You're hiding something. Get inside!
Whoa.
Any questions? No? See you soon.
I wasn't expecting that.
No.
So before we wrap up, everybody, let's have one word from each of you to describe this new season.
My word is riveting.
Inspirational.
Mysterious.
Oh, and an action. It's an action. I'm going to say swarm.
All right, I'm intrigued. Well, again, a huge thank you to all of you for watching. Thank you, Chris, Jodie, Mandip, John, and of course, Jacob, for being so open and sharing with us your thoughts about the new season. And of course, season 13 of Doctor Who is going to come later this year. In the US, it will be premiering exclusively on BBC America and AMC+. And remember that past seasons are available to stream on HBO Max. In the UK, Doctor Who Series 13 will be premiering on BBC One, with Series 1 through 12 available on BBC's iPlayer. I'm Melanie McFarland. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. Well done. Thank you.
Yay!